The theme of my childhood was of being disempowered and dysregulated. I retained an innocence and naivety beyond my years, a quirky child, always absorbed in my own world of play. I was dreamy, and I didn't like the intrusion of adults into my world. Adults who acted as if their opinions and guidance mattered more than my feelings and experiences. My childish innocence and naivety were weaknesses in a culture whose traditional vision was that children need controlling and conditioning with lessons, rules, and systems, that they need to defer to hierarchy and to know their place. Running at absolute odds to my instinct that I knew the direction I needed to take for my growth and development. I knew that I had an inner compass and that I was trying to fulfill my need to learn about my world. The adults in my childhood who thought they should be obeyed, without a thought that I might be dreaming bigger dreams. I spent too much of my childhood feeling shame and frustration instead of following my compass. I had no confidence nor self-esteem, and my sense of guilt and self-hatred flourished. Was I born to hate myself? I don't think so. Was it my response to external pressure and judgment that turned me against myself? I am unique, and my sensitivities are both my strengths and my weaknesses. My childhood lacked nurture and compassion, and I became a distressed adult. Unable to organise myself, I lived in all kinds of chaos and pain. I was out of sync with myself for so long. And then, eventually, after trauma and breakdown, I found my pathway to maturity. I became able to self-regulate, able to understand my emotional landscape. I became capable of loving myself, of giving myself kindness, grace and compassion, an ongoing process of growth aided by mindfulness and psychotherapy. I had a daughter. This girl did not like nursery or school. She had worries and fears about those new environments. My daughter felt a deep clash between what she needed and what she experienced at school. She didn't feel happy or safe. Her changed behaviour made this perfectly apparent. I listened to her. I took her out of school and I played with her for a few years. I nurtured her with curiosity. She wasn't one for being taught. It appeared to offend her nature, and I recognised that offence as a descendant trait of mine. I think some children need to figure things out for themselves and aren't inspired by a top-down model of learning. They find it boring and condescending, and they internally resist. My daughter learnt in her own way, and there was nothing schooly about it. She learnt to read competently by the age of 11, but she didn't write for many more years. She's numerically talented, but in ways that make sense to her life and needs rather than formulas to pass exams. She explored multiple interests: baking, cooking, making things with wire and duct tape, beads, resin, yarn and fabric, clay and music. She rotated her interests and diversified and focused and rested. Lots of TV passions, some stable friendships. I trusted her innate natural emergence. I set myself some values, not to criticise, nor to judge, and to love, respect and encourage as kindly as I could. Our home is a democratic place. I was reminded of the things I'd hated in my childhood: having my hair brushed, being nagged to tidy my room. I couldn't bring these same emotions to my daughter's life. She had tangled hair and a messy bedroom for years, but over time she matured and developed the skills she needed. Now 15, I believe that my daughter has taken a slow, meandering path through childhood development. She is self-led and intrinsically motivated. She continues to fulfill her own agenda and follow her own path. The lessons I hope my daughter absorbed during her childhood: that understanding herself helps her to understand others, and being kind to herself helps her to be kind to others. That society is complex, confusing, and incidental, the result of millions of historical and contemporary competing agendas. But she will find places she fits and places she doesn't, and that there is always space for creativity and space for joy.